At a minimum, it's disappointing.
There's a great irony here, Carly. As I'm listening to Marjorie Taylor Greene, I hear her say, there's a video that everyone is focused on. That video is of illegal immigrants rushing our border. It is a video about 6 minutes ago we were set to play. It is a video that you're not seeing right now because instead we are talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
When Fox News attacks a Republican, it's like getting laid for the first time. It's exciting and messy and you don't quite understand it, but it feels good nonetheless.
Hey everyone, this is Marjorie Greene.
It raises the question, she didn't make this live, so nothing happens for 2 weeks. Is this a fundraising exercise so you can go back to your district for 2 weeks and fundraise off of it? What's the motive here? I get you're not in her head, but what's the motive?
Dairy Queen is a member of the House of Representatives and what can only be construed as one of those inevitable downsides of a democratic republic.
Is it going to be satanic worship?
Her Georgia constituency either supports her ridiculous antics or they simply can't read or afford cable. Now Fox and most of her fellow Republicans are pissed at her because she's taken their squabble public.
Mark, let's start right across the block there. Are we going to have another few weeks of trying to elect a speaker, or what happens?
God help us. The House Republican majority is a dysfunctional embarrassment. I mean, Speaker Johnson didn't ask for this job. He stepped up when the House couldn't elect a replacement for Kevin McCarthy. He's trying to manage an unmanageable conference. Republicans need to understand that they control one half of one branch of government, and now they're going to control it by one vote. You can't impose your will on the entire government when you have one half of one branch of government with one vote. The way, if you want, I want to cut spending too. I want to do all these things. If you want to do that, there's a simple way to do it: win elections. Don't nominate lunatics. Get people who can actually win a general election, not just a Republican primary. Take back the Senate. Take back the White House. That's how Biden got the spending through. So that's how, if we want to cut the spending, that's how you get to do it. You can't do it by having this internal chaos.
Her latest stunt is calling for the removal of Speaker Mike Johnson.
I filed the motion to vacate today. This is a betrayal of the American people. This is a betrayal of Republican voters. And the bill that we were forced to vote on.
Because of his support for passing a budget bill. A bill that'll keep the government running and will allow all those freeloaders Greene hates to live off the government teat. You know, like the military, police, Social Security, air traffic control. Oh, and just for the record, Cracker Barrel here never paid back her six-figure PPP loan.
This bill was basically a dream and a wish list for Democrats and for the White House.
Now, Waffle House said she would bring the vote to remove Johnson if he attempted to pass aid to Ukraine, which is in the funding bill and gets MAGA Republicans in a lather because, we're supporting an ally, a country being attacked by a mass murderer who threatens the U.S. regularly with nuclear weapons.
One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay.
So why did Waffle House really call for Johnson's removal? For attention? Is she like the Kanye of politics? Does she have a plan? Greene is such a train wreck that her first 2 years in the House, she wasn't even allowed to sit on a committee.
So that happened during Barack Obama's presidency. Okay, but let's keep going. Let's keep talking about whatever happened. Yes, I do believe he is a Muslim.
But only Mike Johnson can make people miss Kevin McCarthy, who MAGA voted out just 4 months ago. Who knows, if Dairy Queen gets on a roll, maybe she could vote out the entire party, in which case I would stop calling her names like Dairy Queen, Waffle House, Cracker Barrel, but none of those things are going to happen.
I feel we are seeing yet another tantrum by a tiny faction of that conference that is disrupting the entire machine that we just exhaustively waited for to get back on track. And here we are again, watching someone steal the time, steal the audio, steal the limelight, steal the attention. She says we should have our attention on the illegals streaming across the border, on a million other things. No, our attention was on you while you gave a presser. I'm sick and tired of it. As a Republican, as an American citizen, I want them to get to work. I love Speaker Johnson. Who would be better than him, MTG? What is your plan? And I don't want my legislature taking 2 days up to vote for that, to figure everything out, to look incompetent during a presidential election year. This is the last thing I want to be subjected with. This is, it's frankly, at a minimum, it's disappointing.
I consider Marjorie Taylor Greene to be my friend. She's still my friend. But she just made a big mistake. Trying to vacate Mike Johnson's, I totally oppose that. Listen, Mike is a very good man. He begins every day from the right place, deeply principled.
That's Congressman Clay Higgins saying Mike Johnson is a highly principled man. Highly principled, really? Which principles would those be, Mike? Praying to God while forcing women to carry a fetus without a brain like they do in Tennessee, or praising Jesus while forcing 10-year-old rape victims to carry to term like they do in Ohio, or forcing LGBT to do your version of Leave It to Beaver, or blocking a vote on a bipartisan Senate border bill that is everything Republicans asked for, simply because this cockwaffle wants to run on immigration this fall. While Fox News takes on Greene, don't get too excited. They only hate her because she's like a herpes sore that everyone can see. Fox won't tell you that Mike Johnson is a tool, as is the talking sow who wants him out. And both Johnson and Dairy Queen are pals with this bacteria, the three of them gathering to celebrate America's decline, elbow to elbow with Nazis and white supremacists. Fox won't tell you that Trump owns a Republican Party, and that right there tells you a lot. Johnson, Greene, Gates, Cruz, Graham, all have ceded their principles for a seat at the table, only to discover that the table has three legs and they're sitting on a cliff. The MAGA mantras of federal government, the FBI, Homeland Security, they're all unnecessary, and we should give power to the states. But when you look at the states like Alabama and Mississippi and see that without the federal government cleaning their water, building their roads, helping seniors with Medicare and offering health services, they would rapidly morph into one of those shithole countries Trump rails about.
Everyone's down at this irrational level. They're at an emotional level right now. I hope that they can rise up to a rational level and think about this with some common sense. And I would tell you, honest to goodness, Moses could not do a better job than Speaker Johnson is doing right now.
Moses, really? Down from the mount with his 10 commandments? Thou shalt not say Donnie's name in vain?
Most importantly, I brought my Bible.
The system ain't broken, and if it is, okay, red states, all those free spending bills that go to your states to make your life safer and more secure, give the money back. I live in California, and my taxes go to make your shanty-ass redneck oasis tolerable. You don't hear me bitching. Well, I guess I am now.
At a minimum, it's disappointing.
Fox is in a pickle. While they feign impartiality and look for an escape route, there would be no MAGA without them. Fox, like MAGA Republicans, have no North Star. They drift aimlessly across America like a beer fart on a balmy day. They want to cut funds for troubled youth, but give tax breaks to corporate polluters. Look, you don't have to be a genius to lead. You just have to have a little empathy for the people who are different than you. Before Trump turned the GOP into a white hood, we could talk.
Very fine people on both sides.
But what would I say to this hump? She wants to arm kindergarten teachers, force Hispanics to prove they aren't illegal while supporting the big lie and the insurrection.
And the so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon. It's odd there's never any evidence shown for a plane.
While Fox struggles to find their way with this group of grifters, the evangelical side of the party tries to keep control while the Waffle House faction cries for their heads. Under normal circumstances, I might laugh at the struggle, but it's like trying to save a drowning man and not being pulled under for the effort. Fox and the GOP say, can't we all get along? Mike Johnson and Dairy Queen are a cute couple. Yeah. But a couple of what?
You can't let that happen to me. Who's with me?
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Am I wrong? Damn right. Yes. Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
Follow, like, and hit notifications as Really American keeps you up to date on the latest Republican cult lie in this very important year. For Really American, I'm Chip Franklin.